Well, good morning. Happy solstice. It's Catherine. Actually, it started, this is the 22nd. It's the morning of the 22nd of December. And it's a little earlier than I usually get up. Okay, well, yeah, it's only 7. Old retired ladies just don't have a reason to get up at 7 in the morning. I've been up for a few minutes, though. I had to get my coffee. Oh, my God. Yeah, I needed that. But the reason I'm up here with looking like I just got out of bed, I woke up to Little Orphan Annie's "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow." I did. And I wish I still had the voice where I could sing it. I won't put you through that. Here's how I started my day yesterday. Started on Sunday, my bad. I went to Way Showers on Facebook, and there's 2 of these, okay? The one that I go through ends with the Z. I'll put all that in the thing. Anyway, I said I'm gonna I'm giving away Reiki healings, and I've got 4 ladies from there that I've been working with to send healing to. And then I spent the day yesterday making cookies for the kids next door. I live in a predominantly Mexican neighborhood, and so Karen, she really doesn't speak English very well, if at all. I think she understands it more than she can speak it yet. Now Martin, he's totally bilingual. He speaks English, and he's out of Oklahoma, so he's more probably Choctaw or Cherokee more than Mexican, but he speaks fluent Spanish. And they've got these 2 little kids, and so I've adopted the family because, frankly, I what else am I supposed to do, right? And so here's what I did. This is my first try at these. Have you ever seen these in the Mexican bakery? This is shortbread, and it's got chopped nuts in it, and you make a tea out of cinnamon and anise seed, and you strain that and you put it in the batter. And then this is strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla. Oh, God. So, yeah. This is really good. I have to be very careful. But yeah, I've just lost all that weight, and now I'm making, yeah. Mm-mm. So anyway, I did that. When I used to live in Greeley, there was Mexican bakeries everywhere. Panderias, I think they're called. And I would go in there, and the shortbread is like those big round cookies they make and they use this icing stuff to make a smiley face on it. I get a bag full of those and just munch down. I just thought, God, this is the greatest thing. And when I ran the soup kitchen for the Salvation Army, I would get a lot of a variety of Mexican desserts in there that would get donated. And then, so I was introduced to a lot of different flavors from that. Yeah, excuse me. I have just got... I know, I sound like I have a frog in my throat. And I can't breathe through my nose yet this morning. So, anyway, that's how my day has been so far. I just wanted to, there's just some things that are fixing to happen. And I wrote about it in Way Showers. It's just a whole great big paragraph of the most fantastic event. And it's only one of the events in my repertoire. There's another one that's even, frankly, even bigger. I'll start with that one. It was 2001, and it was February 12th or 13th. I think it was the 13th. You can hear that in the background. I know you can. There you go. Everybody's up and so anyway, my daughter overdosed on a cocktail of morphine and Zyprexa, and she was given up for dead. She's in the she's hooked up with basically a no hope. I guess they probably had a toe tag waiting at the desk. I'm in Alabama. She's 18. So I have to get on a bus. I borrowed against a paycheck, borrowed from friends, and rode 2 days, a full 2 days, to get to my daughter. And I, the whole way, kept hearing Lazarus come forth. Now, at that time, that wouldn't have been unusual, because I didn't have any other faith or belief system except the one I was raised in. That's what I had. So those were the vernaculars of my mind at that time. And I knew she would not die. Now, they did not tell me that this was a no-hope situation. I found that out about a month into it, talking to a nurse sitting outside who was shocked that my daughter wasn't dead yet. She shouldn't be there, apparently. Because when they say no hope, they mean, do you want to give her organs away when this happens? We're going to unplug her in a minute. Or she's just going to, things are just going to go sideways here. And I said no. And they tried to explain to me the situation. Ma'am, your daughter has overdosed, and here are and her vitals were like, and I'd done enough home health care that I could see the machines and going, well, that doesn't look very good, does it? But I got told, Lazarus, come forth. She is not going to die. She's not going to die. She's actually going to get out of this. Oh, okay. I knew something. I knew something. And I knew something you couldn't take away from me. You couldn't talk me out of it. Your logic had no effect on me. And they looked at me like, bless your delusional heart. Well, you're a mother. They had seen this before until they hadn't seen it before. On Sunday morning, after this event, it's been like 3 days now, I'm there. I'm at my daughter's bedside, and I'm holding her hand, and I said, Heather, Mama's here. And she squeezed my finger. She knew I was there. She could hear me. And it took about a month into this. They had to put glue and hooks on her fingernails and put wires so that her hands, because they were wanting to do this, her feet were in braces because they were wanting to curl from atrophy. brain atrophy. It was horrible. I mean, there was no logical reason for this child to still be on this planet. And I had you couldn't make me worry. You absolutely could not work me into a lather about, oh my God, my daughter's going to die, because I'd been told, no, she's not. She's not. She's not. And she's going to be 37 on her birthday in December. She can hold a perfectly intelligent conversation with you. Now, she had 2 full ride scholarships at that time. And she does get a disability check. She's brain injured. And she doesn't strike you, maybe. But she's smart. And beautiful. And she's an artist. But she didn't die. She walked out of the hospital. She had to learn how to walk. She had to learn how to walk. I watched that. I watched her in that rehab room on a walker, on the bars between, the walkway thing they do, and I watched her let go and take independent steps. I have it on pictures. That she was walking. And she couldn't do it very long. She couldn't do it very far. And the day she left the hospital, she had to sit back down in the wheelchair. But she told them, I'm going to walk out of here. And she walked out of here. There was a night that in about the 2nd month into rehab, she ran a temperature of 108. I was there. I was like, she's burning up. I had to get there. She's burning up. They went in there and did the ear thing. Oh, it was code red at this point. Now we're getting the blanket thingies and the fan, and we're doing things, and we're changing her medicines, and we're getting that. And there was a minute that she wouldn't respond very well. And then she came out of that. Lazarus, come forth. She didn't die. And she's not a carrot. Somebody needs to hear that it's possible. That's all I know, is whenever I tell this story, somebody needs to hear that it's possible. That if you've received a message that somebody's going to make it, hang on to that message, because it's real. She should not be here. There is no medical explanation for why a child found not breathing and a mysterious burn on her arm, which it just now occurs to me that I now have a skill set to find out how that really happened. Because there's always been something funny about it. There's always been a mystery about the burn on her arm. She's got a full depth gouge in her arm from a burn that didn't make any sense. I fell asleep in front of a space heater. Even her dad tried to pull that story off on us. Then why were there other burns? And why were we worrying about the palm of her? No, something else happened that night. I know that I have other readers that are maybe on here. Help me out here. How did my daughter really, really, really burn her arm? Because something nefarious is in the wind on this one. But at the time, they were so concerned about her just not dying. The burn, they treated the burn. We did everything we could for that. It left a scar you wouldn't believe. It was full depth. But something else happened that night, and I just now realized that I can find out what it was. I didn't have that skill set back then. I've only been doing this since last summer. So there's a lot of revelations that are coming to me that didn't before, because I didn't know they could. Alright, you ready? We're going to go back to April of 2010. And I had lost the job, such as it was, working for the Salvation Army running their kitchen. We had a feeding program. I fed about 100 people a day. Remember, back then, the economy had crashed. It was in tatters. I was doing 60 people a day, and then literally the next day, the line grew by 40 more and stayed that way. I had people in there that just recently had their nails done and had their hair frosted and shit. Sorry. Yeah. They're sitting there crying in their plate. They don't know how they got here, but I'm their meal. That job went away because they couldn't pay me. They ran out of funds. So, that was the story. I didn't really fit in at that point. By that point, I had really stopped drinking the Kool-Aid. So I didn't do the organized religion thing anymore. Just couldn't. And so but it was a job, and it fit who I am as an Aquarius with a Leo moon, Virgo rising, and it was like, oh, I belong here. I am helping people. I'm doing this. And so, hey, Allie. This is Allie. Allie was one of 3 little orphans I took in when they were tiny. They were in the road, thrown in the road. Her brothers are the big orange, long-haired. Hi, baby. So, we're going to go to April 2010. And it's a Sunday afternoon. And my ex-husband and one of my other sons comes up to the house and said, Nicholas has been in an accident. Nicholas is the youngest one. And he's been burned. It's bad. He's in the hospital. He's in a burn ICU ward. Now, he's in Omaha, Nebraska. Okay? I'm here. He's here. I was down to under $5. I remember that. I didn't have more than that. And I had a Yamaha 250. The starter bike, right? A little cafe racer. That's what I had. A 1981 Yamaha. And $5 at best. Borrowed some saddlebags and rolled up a toothbrush and a pair of jeans, basically. Filled up what I could in that tank and took off. I got as far as Sterling, Colorado, and it was getting dark, and I stopped at a cafe, realizing I probably can't go any farther. But I had to keep going. I knew I had to get there, and I knew I would get there. The truck driver bought me coffee and a hamburger. The Ramada Inn up there had a discontinued room, a non-serviced room that they let me sleep in. And the trucker gave me $20. I think he expected something else for that $20. It's like, oh, sorry, dude. He was disappointed, but that's okay. I needed gas money, didn't I? And I didn't ask for it. I didn't. They thought it was odd that this woman was doing what she was going to do. And why? I said, I've got to get to Omaha. He's been burned, and I've got to get there. This is all I have. By the time I get up into Nebraska, that little strip of Nebraska just north of Colorado, I got hit with a windstorm from hell. Oh my Lord, no joking aside. I was leaning sideways to not get blown in the ditch. I had to stop. And I'm sitting here going, for miles, I was like, Spirit, I need to be rescued. I can't do this. I've got to be rescued. And there, up ahead of me, they saw me. I think they saw... No, they didn't see me. I saw them. A truck with an empty flatbed was ahead of me. One of those big 4-door trucks. And they're pulling an empty flatbed. And I get up to them and I go, could you please trailer me to safety? I can't ride in this. It rained the entire way to Omaha, where they were going. Yeah, they were going to Omaha. They had to pick up a car part to rebuild an old Buick or something. So Mom and Dad, a couple of their kids, I rode in the back. It rained the entire way. I couldn't have done it. But I had to do what I did to meet the connection to get there. How crazy is that? My son was in the ICU burn ward. Him and his best friend Ryan and Ryan's girlfriend, they'd shared a house out there. They moved out there to get work. There's meatpacking work out that way. And so, because there was no work in Greeley. There just wasn't. I couldn't find a job. My sons, it was awful. So they went to Nebraska and they found work, but they were giving up the house. And Nick was out burning garbage, and a neighbor kid threw an aerosol can in the fire, and Nick couldn't get it out. It happened so fast that he had time, he said, to hold his breath and try to turn away from it, and it got him. It got him. It freaking got him. So his whole face is red, his ears are burned, his nose, he can't see. We weren't really sure if he would get, did it damage his eyes? But the fact that he was holding his breath at the time, that saved his life. That would have killed him otherwise. So, he is in an ICU burn ward. He's got burns on his hands. He's got a pretty bad burn on his arm that needed a skin graft. It wasn't as bad as his sister's, but it needed a graft. So he did a pig skin graft on that till it grew back. So I got to my son, dropped off in Omaha. They gave me a little pocket change, and they fed me. That was great. I had no real idea where I was going. I've never been to Omaha. It's raining. I'm on a 250 Yamaha. I'm in my leathers and a garbage bag as a raincoat to try to keep the worst of it off. By the time I found the hospital and his room, I'm just dripping wet, but there he is. And the next day they did the skin graft. Somehow through all of this, they gave him a hospitality room because I had to go back on the bus to Colorado to take care of my personal effects, because now I realize I am not going to live there and I have to get my stuff secured. So I did that, and I don't to this day remember how I got the bus money to do it. It could have been that my son still had paycheck money. I think that's probably what it was, is Nicholas still had paycheck money. So I did my round trip bus ticket, secured everything, and went back on the bus, caught up with Nicholas. There's a lot of those details that are just really not there anymore. Because I haven't really thought about this until Spirit reminded me of it the other day. He says, remember Nebraska in 2010 and what happened, how it happened. And then I pieced it all together and realized what a big thing it really was. I did get there miraculously. there's no other way around that. Nicholas recovered from the burns. He had a car. As he's leaving the hospital, we didn't have anywhere to live. The house, that's not a thing. He was already supposed to be working. He had somewhere he was going to be going. They had somewhere else to go. Ryan and the girlfriend went back to Colorado. But all of this is now gone. It's gone. It's in the wind. He did get the job back. We'll get there. While he was in the hospital, in the hospitality suite, and I am in back and forth to Colorado, he made friends with Curtis. Curtis was there visiting friends whose child had to have a organ transplant. And I don't know if you know, this hospital complex in Omaha, Nebraska is a small town. Literally a small town. You must have a map to find your way here and there. It's huge. He met Curtis, and Curtis, due to a divorce, was living in a motel room. He says, I've got about another week there if it'll help you out. So we shared the spare bed in that motel room. Bless Curtis forever and ever. And Curtis rode a much nice Harley. That was great. So I never rode on the bike, or did I? Maybe I did. Yeah, I think I did. But if we went somewhere, I had my own. Granny had her own. I wasn't a granny back then. I wasn't. Not yet. So anyway, we took off on the car, and we were going. He had an appointment to go to, or somewhere to go to, and we ended up at the best friend's girlfriend's uncle's house. And we were running out of gas money. We were running out of everything. We couldn't go any further. And he had a bunk bed in the spare room. Here, take that. So that's what we did. We stayed there long enough to get a paycheck. We stayed there for a few weeks until Nick could get back to work and get paid. And then we got connected with this other person who had a travel trailer, not unlike what I'm living in now, inside of a big barn, a cemented barn. So we stayed in that for several months through the summer and found an apartment and moved, and then found a house in the same little town of Columbus. And he still got the job, right? Every time we needed a meal, every time we needed a bed, every time we needed to get somewhere, we got it. It was there. Boom. Every time. We never slept in the car, and we never missed a meal. Nicholas recovered. He has to wear sunscreen because he's real sensitive to the sun right now. But yeah, that's what we did. And I say all of that to tell you this, that I know that around Aquarius, February, March, I'm moving from here back to Colorado. And we don't know how, any more than I knew how back then. I just know that we're fixing to do that again on steroids. The sun will come out tomorrow, bet your bottom dollar. That's what I woke up to this morning. Hold on. Don't doubt if you've been told everything's going to be okay, even if you can't physically see the okay. You don't know how in the world, but good grief, don't give up. Please don't give up. It's right there. Walk towards. It's like we would be at we'd be at the edge of, oh my God, now what? And the door would open, and here it is on a plate. Here it is. Oh, okay. when we'd be walking along, everything's, and then we'd need something else. Now what are we going to do? There it is. Again, just like before. And this just kept happening. Just kept happening. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you. Right after that, you know, I needed to let Nicholas have some space. I thought, he's okay. I showed him, you're doing okay. Look at the money you're making. This is what, you have money. Because he'd always had roommates. I needed him to stand on his own 2 feet. I went to Iowa and joined a theater club group and became a barista and did all kinds of fantastic things in Iowa. My children are grown. I gotta go do the thing I gotta do. He went back to Colorado. And we're about to, yeah, the road's been really, really bumpy for a few years. I'm not going to joke about that. But that's there's been the shift. And the bumpy comes to an end soon. Things are going to smooth out. I know that we're going to get another stimulus package. I know that. I know I've known that after Biden was sworn in, he's going to be making things happen. Okay? There's a lot of the Trump regime that's going to go down in flames. It's going to be epic. They're just going to Mitch McConnell will be powerless because the vice president can override him, and will, if she has to. You'll either this is what we're going to do, deal with it. So there's another stimulus package coming, which will help me finance some of this. But just like we don't know where the house is. Don't have an idea. Not a clue. Getting a U-Haul and putting gas in it and getting me and the critters there, that's the easy part. Truly it is. I've already figured that out. So, anyway, just thought I'd share. Me and Allie send our love. And be safe out there. If you don't have to go out, better you don't. We don't all have vaccines in our arms yet, but we will. Okay, and I love you guys. Please like and subscribe, and if you think somebody would like to hear the miracle stories, share this with them. Okay? I gotta go. Bye.